We are living in the world that we don't fully understand. We do things and we expect the outcome to be what we so desire. But in the other hand, we are doing it in the wrong way, and we don't even have people who fully understand how those things plays out in the later of our life. And that is why we have just only few people who are living a luxurious life while the rest other people are lavishing in poverty. So I believe that people who have this knowledge, who possess this very knowledge I'm about to teach you today, from time immemorial, have set their path straight and resonate with their own frequency, project exactly what they want, and it works just as they want it to be. They become multi-talented. They do a lot of things that we now see them as public figures to look up to for certain things, certain directions, certain information, such as Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, even though with his own kind of different way and belief, Jeff Bezos, and the rest of other people which we have in our society today. A lot of us often don't believe. In fact, the greatest problem we have is that we don't believe. We associate ourselves with a lot of people who have doubts. We associate ourselves with a lot of people who do not believe the concept of believing and manifesting through believing. So, in my best advice in my teachings is you have to cut off from these people, because if you don't cut off from these people, you're still going to remain where you are. You're going to remain miserable if you're already miserable before. You're going to remain unproductive if you have been unproductive before. If you're enterprising, you're going to remain enterprising just like you were until you decide to make that certain change. And that change is something which I need to put your mind through so you understand that this is not a joke. This is a reality. This is about your life we're talking about here. So when you choose not to believe, you disassociate yourself. You disseminate your own inner self, which is the higher power, from your body, and you go ahead to burn out. You go ahead to work so hard and earn so little. That is the consequences of you not believing in yourself or believing in things, cause and effect. And that is why even the Bible make a lot of reference to us. Even if you don't so much read the Bible, but I want you to understand the Bible is a collection of ancient texts from Egypt, Book of Dead, philosophies, and too many of them that is hold a lot of element of truth. So it is something, it is a book we can reckon with, we can internalize some of its teachings to be able to manifest or manipulate our reality. It had the mirror of the principle of mirror, which I thought immensely about how believing, how internalizing some certain things can control or manipulate our reality, are the factors that are hindering us from manifesting what we want. Now, when we're talking about belief here, it is a very complex subject, but it is actually a very simple concept which we can use in our daily life to make things happen. I've used this a lot, and this has transformed me immensely the way most of you were not, in fact, will doubt so much. But I want you to start from this very moment to stop doubting. Stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting what people say, because you are not there when it happens. So when you doubt, what happens? You create a firewall that will allow you to resonate your own frequency to communicate, which I taught immensely in mirror principle. You create a firewall that stops you from transcending, from communicating effectively to the spiritual dimension. You stop your own ability to create that communication tower that you constantly send signal to and receive signal back from, that helps you shape your own reality to what you want it to be. So believing is a critical element in our life as much as time. And this is where a lot of people are failing it. I even see a lot of people making videos that it doesn't work. The law of assumption doesn't work, and try to discourage a lot of people. Look, when you don't believe, the consequences is that it is huge. I have dived into that part before, and it is very, very miserable, guys. So I have practiced this and it worked out for me. That is why I decided I want to be sharing this message. A lot of people are trapped in the doctrine of Christianity and a lot of matrix. A lot of people are living from poverty, from different kinds of problems. But I have used this to manifest a lot of result that is so profound, above my own grade as the world might see it. And that is, when we talk about grade, that is where the Bible comes in, where you say, do not be conformed to the standard of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. In the book of Romans, how will you renew your mind when you don't believe? So that is why I said that believing is one of the critical elements, one of the things that transmutate our thought, our aspirations, our belief into reality, materializing whatever we think. Now, think for a moment. About 10 years ago, to this very moment, where you have been, what you have done, the clothes you are wearing, the phone you have, all came from the decision you make, from your thought, from action you took out of belief. However, you are just barely scratching the surface, more like a tip in an iceberg. So, there is more to believing, there is more to receive when we start to believe. Anything is possible when we believe, without doubt. So for me, I was a dropout. I never go to college. However, things I'm achieving today, I have a lot of brothers, a lot of cousins who are college graduates with degrees and no job in the nation where I come from. However, my uncle so much believes in certification because that is what the political system has structured my own nation to be. And he even go forth to cast a spell of word on me by telling me that if I don't ace my grade school and get excellent certifications, grades, that I will keep roaming from wall to wall in order to feed. It's something that actually touched me while I was growing up. And I cried to my mommy and explained, this is what my uncle told me. And she told me that I've listened to it, that it's up to me to accept it or to reject it. But that is not going to happen. My mommy knows me too well that I'm a complex person when it comes to skills acquisitions and having a mental strength. And this is where belief comes into play. Now, I took upon myself what he said and I acted against it. I remembered it every day, but I never allowed that very word which he said to become the dominant message or thought within me. And therefore, I live my life trying to prove him wrong. And in the end, within my own family, I was the first guy to buy a car. I was the first guy to start doing a lot of things which most of them never thought possible without college degrees. And this whole thing was done by a simple mere act of believing and acting upon the belief as the reality, living in the reality of your belief. It's the belief that I'm talking about. It's not just nodding your head that you believe. It's about you acting it out. And even the Bible talk more. The entire Bible structured its teachings about belief and faith. So what is the faith? Faith is believing in the evidence of unseen things and acting upon it like it is already existing. That is what faith is. When you believe that you can make something out of nothing and you goes forth to immerse yourself in that feelings of the reality of what you believed in and act upon it without doubt and continuously to hold the thought strongly. Let's say that you want to invent a flying car and you hold the thought within yourself and start making every possible move, from trying to look at the already existing infrastructure of information such as the car which is already existing and trying to modify it, the tires, and trying to give it some wind, trying to make another different kinds of engine that will make it to be able to adapt to driving on the road and flying on the air. You, by just this thinking and making these changes, you are communicating into the universe. And the universe is communicating back to you. I call it two-way protocol. I explain this concept in the mirror principle very well. And when you start doing this, when the universe sensed the immense energy, determination, the desire, the burning sensation, the desire and enthusiasm backed with the action which you have used to set this in motion, the universe will be forced to channel everything to you in order to realize that goal. That is one secret that a lot of people don't actually teach or fully understand when talking about belief or laws of attraction. That something pushes you, something started interceding on your behalf, and this is a communication which you have already started. That is why I explained and teach a lot about signals, how we emit signals and receive signals and make communications in different ways. That is not just the communication we're talking about, like talking to you. We communicate to the extraterrestrial realm or the spiritual dimension, and that communication comes back to us, and we're constantly communicating. This communicating is what shape our life, what determines whom we're going to become, what determines the desired result we are going to get in this life, no matter where we are, no matter the situation. And it differs from one individual to another. And the most insightful thing, very interesting thing about it is that the more you try to do it, the more you get more knowledge, more information about it, more inspiration, more idea. This world, the entire structure of this entire world is not done without the element of belief. When you see skyscrapers, when you see cars, when you see ship, when you see yachts, when you see mega structures, mega engineering project that is going on, this is an element of belief people hold in their thought and start to push against every resistance into making it a reality. And that is why the Bible also backed it up, telling you that if faith without work is a dead faith. Why did the Bible say that? Because you believing, simply mere believing, visualization, assuming, all right, and doing all that then go to sleep without making an actionable movement in correspondence with the goal which you have set, or your mission objective, or your ideas to materialize, in attempts to materialize your idea, is going to be dead. I think that's the most critical part most people who teach about laws of assumption or laws of attraction do not fully explain to you. Now, some other persons say something very interesting about it, which I often reflect in order to bring you to understand that most times the science and the Bible and some other religions teachings often merge. And this is Isaac Newton's law of motion, the first one actually. Why did it say the first one? I think it's very important to understand that he prioritizes above every other among the three laws. The third one, I think, is action and reaction are equal and opposite, right? Which means whatsoever you reflect inside your heart is the same thing you get out. Action and reaction is equal and opposite. Whatsoever you do else, which also the Bible talked about, that do unto others what you want them to do back to you. So that is what Newton's taught in third law of motion. Why in the first law of motion, Newton's law is talking about what the Bible says in the book of Romans indirectly, which it says, an object will continue to be in its state of rest. In fact, Newton explains the Bible just in a different way that people don't understand. That an object will continue in its state of rest or in straight motion until acted upon by a force, and it will change direction, and the new direction will be in proportion to the direction of the force that acted upon it. This is the universal laws of cause and effect of how we transcend, transmutate, and materialize our thought into action, shift from grace to grace, innovate, create, and enterprise, establish, become something gigantic, bigger than people can actually imagine. That it started by simple, not even finances. There is a Wall Street Journal quote that says that ideas is money, is capital, other things are money. Yes, ideas is capital, other things are money. Now let's go back to the Newton's first law. It says an object will remain in a state of rest or emotion until acted upon by force. What that means in the universal principle and law is that you will remain in your state of poverty. You will remain in your state of miserability. You will remain in that very state of mediocrity, or locked in a paradox of living from piggy bank to savings, credit card, and debt, until you have a change of mind, a renewing of mind, which the Bible talked about in the book of Romans. Until you accept not to be conformed to the standard of this world, which is the savings or piggy bank, or smoking, alcoholism, or something, watching movie all day long or gaming all day long without having any other thing within your mind. Because that thing, that very activity you do every day that takes up your mind, is what is gonna be chiseled into your subconscious mind. Is a communication which you are making to the universe that is what you want, that is what you are printing out, that is what you are mirroring, that is what you keep getting. You're gonna keep getting new update of new games coming up. You're not gonna get in an update of Financial Times, because that is not what you are mirroring inside yourself. That is not the image you have inside yourself. So until you decide to change course from that gaming you continuously game that has taken almost your best life existence, while you are busy playing in your PlayStation, driving Lamborghini, in your mind, in the game aspect, as just a game and not in trying to materialize it. There are people out there who their own image is playing that game, not just game, but also having it chiseled in their mind that they want to drive that Lamborghini in the reality. So there are two different things. One is playing the game and trapped in the matrix of playing the game and just the game and having the fun, while the other person is not playing it as just having fun, is playing it from his mobile phone and not spending too much money on it and having his whole mind of trying to materialize that Lamborghini, manifest that Lamborghini. So there are two different things and two different people are using it in a different way. That is why I often say that what works for Mr. A might not work for Mr. B, because they have different, we are wired differently and we communicate differently, we manifest differently. So until you decide to change your line of actions, your activity, your whatsoever you do, that kind of things that takes most of your time, you are going to remain in that state that you are. But the moment you change your mind, the moment you change your concept of thinking, everything about you will start taking a new direction. And that direction is what's going to determine where you're going to be, up or down, higher or lower, grace or grass. This is how our belief, how my own belief changed me, reconstructed me to getting anything I want faster, to manifest whatsoever I want to manifest faster. While others are busy going to sit in their stores and their place of work every day, I refuse to go and sit just like them. Instead, prefer to stay at home and do multitasking and post my own business online, let people contact me. Only come outside when it is by appointment, when customer needed my service. And that I have ability to adapt into different dimensions, to do different things at the same time, while they are holding just only one position. So I am very much far ahead in so doing. A lot of them will say, how do you do it? You just all the time at home, and you only come out here now. Not only that, I also structured myself that the kind of filtered my own kind of customer base, that the kind of customer I want is a premium customer who is going to pay just more than what if other regular persons are paying. So I might just do just one little work within the one time, and for 1 month, even if I don't work, I don't mind. I'm okay. I have much more finances to take care of myself. Why those who goes there every day are just getting literally little to nothing, or the one they have is not even enough that they have to keep going every day. So it's all started with you, how you decide to structure your own mindset, your belief, how you decide to communicate with the universe about whatever you want. That determines what you're going to get. So in the belief, I've used belief to become a producer. In fact, a songwriter, a lyricist. And it kind of takes me outside this very realm when I play in music. It's not just about that. I also use music to transform my facial expression from what it was previously that I don't like to what I am so much proud of, that even my banks and nearly everybody is noticing it. I also use the same belief system to manifest the love of my life, my partner, and my own kid. So there is a whole lot, and it's a whole different concept altogether. I use the same law, the same belief to get whatever I want. I called some of these concepts, some of them I create them because it cannot work effectively for you if you can't be able to think critically and create the process that will begin the chain of reaction. I can't, if we're looking at things in the order of the standard of this world of certification, go to school, acquire a certificate, I will nowhere be close to where I am today. And it is all beginning from simple changing of my concept of thinking, my belief, to break out of the matrix of certification, college degree, and you name it. And I want you to sit down for a moment and ask yourself, most of the inventors in the history of mankind, that is a question that I often ask. Those people who wrote this book whom you are reading, who taught them? Who taught the people who taught them? Who taught the people who taught them? So in the end, nobody. They sat down and they started concentrating, they started believing, and they started receiving. And you can do the same and become a masterpiece over anything, any subject, anything you want to become in this life lies in you, in your hands to start today and start believing, stop doubting yourself. Because when you doubt yourself, you create more problem, you create more barricade between you and the immaterial world that is supposed to assist you into manifesting. You create a discommunication. You break the communication protocol, and you are simply a discommunication. You know what happens when you trying to turn into radio stations to listen to a program and you don't get the frequency correct? Noise. That is exactly what you are. You are detuned from the right frequency of your existence. So you are merely just breathing and eating. Take it out, you're nobody. However, go ahead and check most of the list names of the famous people who are change makers who change this world. Most of them are not college graduates. You can talk about how should I start? I'm going to give you a lot of instances, and I'm still going to give you a present instance of some of these people who are changing the world and how they are changing it by their believing, so you can be able to know that I'm not talking about fiction here. This is something which is reality, something I'm living in, right? Take for instance, you can talk about the innovations of automobility without Carl Benz, who was the first person to think outside the box and think about the horseless carriage, which we now know as car, Mercedes-Benz. It is an idea that begins from a single mind, conceived and start pushed even when it has never existed. Everybody make mockery of it, but today, now, is he a college graduate? I don't know. But there is something I know. The person who changed the course of automobility into the most powerful innovation ever that we now enjoy this day, that we have cars that have more diverse sensors and makes too many communication through CAN network, is not a college graduate, and that is who? Robert Bosch, who introduces the electronic control modules in your automobility. There are too many of them. Because why? The college and the time you used to go to school take a lot of time, which if we are taught this concept of belief, we will understand the financial knowledge and would not need to stress ourselves. We can decide that we want to make money. But that is not what the society wants. If everybody wants to get money, things fall apart quickly. That's what they believe. So the knowledge is kept only for few people who believe. And therefore, as you are watching or listening to this very video right now, there are many people who already stopped watching. But there are few people who this very video captures this message, resonate and reckon with. And these choosing few people are the people who are still gonna become the staggering masterpiece in finances, in making reshaping the reality and the future of our world tomorrow, whether you like it or not, because this is where the transformation, the innovation, the enterprising, the restructuring, the building of the mega structure, the resigning of every masterpiece and master plan of this world revolving in the concept of believe and manifest. So today, I can talk so much about myself because I would have want you to see for yourself. Because most oftentimes when you say these things, a lot of people often get fed up. He talks about me, 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 me. But however, you need to see people to know that you are far behind. You need to see what people are doing to be able to understand that you are probably moving in the wrong direction. Unexamined life is unworthy of living. That is some of your philosophers who actually say that. Now, before I crown this everything up, I am living a life of abundance right now, financial abundance. I worry not about finances. I worry not about what I'm going to eat. There are some certain kind of belief, the kind of home I came from. We even rarely have protein in the meal that we eat. But today, it's rare. I can't remember the last time I tried to eat from my own house without protein. There is much immense of protein inside. So your definition of rich or being wealthy or financial freedom differs from every other person. It could be luxurious, it could be non-luxurious. What matters is what you are okay with, what you have validated that this is what you want, this is what you want to settle with. Now, the good thing about believing also is that there is no limit to how much you can believe and how much you can pull out from the universe into the reality if we believe in it, so long as we believe. And I did mention it, that is why the Bible says that those who believe, He have given the power to become the sons and daughters of God. And what is that? So the sons and daughters of God, in the actual sense, are not supposed to be poor. They're supposed to be enterprising. They're supposed to be rich. They're supposed to be having a life of abundance to help others, to make others believe too. But I don't think that is how the Bible was taught. We're taught to accept poverty and all that, live poor to be able to go to heaven. That's why I said it's not often good to absorb all that. We are just to take the fact that we can see there, that we can be able to apply in our life to make the change we need to become whom we want to become. And also the Bible makes a lot of reference to believe when it says, when you ask for anything, believe that you have received it and you have received it. He didn't say, believe that you will receive it. He said, believe that you have received it. He said, believe that you have received it. So that is the same thing we are teaching on the laws of attraction, the magic of thinking big. That the more you can be able to believe within your heart that instead of living as a tenant in just one room apartment or whatsoever apartment, why not desire to own a mansion? A lot of you, when you start saying that it's too big, you need to listen, you need to watch the mirror principle I think about, so to understand how you go wrong, how you make things difficult for yourself by disbelief, by act of doubting. And I offered a solution, I offered an example on how to counter and break it, because most of us are people of little faith. Even the Bible talked about that if you can have a faith as small as mustard seed, you will tell this mountain to move and the mountain will move. What that means is simply believing in yourself ability. Why? Because God has given us immense power. God made us a creator. Do you know what God did? Even, let's say, if we want to believe the story of the Bible, I want you to understand something here. We believe the part we want to believe to manifest what we want to manifest. We can throw away the rest. I know a lot of you guys who read book today, no matter how expensive that book is after reading it, the book is no more worth of value to you because the information you grab from inside is the main thing. And he says if you have a faith as little as mustard seed, you can move mountains. So which means you can't have that faith without believing in yourself. You can't keep believing in people and keep disbelieving in yourself. Once you start believing in yourself, when you start believing everything is possible, when you start internalizing that feeling and living in the reality of your belief, things around you will start changing course. Things will start materializing. Your thought will become will be substantiated into materialism. You will start seeing all that which you have been laboring for, working so hard, burning out, that all you need is just an easy projection of thought visualization with your desire and activated with action, and it will be set into motion by the universe, and you start seeing yourself living in it, and it will start manifesting. So stop disbelieving, start believing. If you have a lot of people who are telling you or making mockery of you, bullying you that you're believing, cut off from them. Nobody says that cutting off from people is a bad habit. Cut off from people. Say evil communication, evil company, corrupt good manner. I don't know how they actually say it, but something like that. When you keep a bad company, it will change your goodness. They will influence you negatively, and you start thinking like them, and you start becoming like them. That's why they say, show me your friends and I'll tell you whom you are. So from today onwards, have a new garment, a new armor of belief in yourself, and go ahead to create the reality that you want, and stop living in the reality or forceful reality other people rejected or trashed. Because take my word for it, you either believe in yourself and recreate your own reality with your own terms and conditions, with your own blueprint, or others who believe will use you to manifest their own goal. That is what it is. You either believe in yourself and make a fresh decision about your life and how your life is going to go and manipulate your own reality, and have the fattest meal or the fattest choice, or others will make believe, put into action all they want, and the fragments, the leftover, is what is going to be left for you, and that's what makes a lot of people poor. So if you want to change that very situation of yours that you are, that very state of dormancy you are, miserable you are, on digression, unproductive state that you are, it begins not with you having money. It begins with you changing your concept of thinking. It begins with you internalizing, dreaming, and believing in the dream, and pour your heart into it, and that is where a little money or whatsoever can go into it. Until you change the concept of trying to save in a piggy bank and know that it's actually caging you, and start thinking of investment and see finances as a seed, which the Bible tells you that until a seed is sown and it dies, it will not multiply. Take it like a grain of corn. You might eat one corn, right? But have you ever occurred to you that it's just one grain of it that goes into the soil that becomes that very one that you have? and calculate the rest of them that are within the bunch which you ate. That is like 100 of generation of the corn you ate right there. But if you put 1 grain of it, it comes out. That is exactly what happens to the finances. When you keep it in one place, like a stored grain, it remains there and will not multiply just like every other grain is. But if you put it in a soil and water it, then it grows and start yielding more fruit, and that fruit is what is going to create the kind of life of abundance which you strongly desire into financial freedom. So investment is the key. Budget in spending and not savings. So if you are touched by this message, share it with others. Let's help the world grow. Let's help the world liberate people from poverty, liberate people from burning out, working so much and earning so little, and help people. You are part of my own family of taking people to the path of prosperity by sharing this message, liking and subscribing. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.